So here's a right case half with the pump on, and from the back you can see here are the 3 bolts for the pump, and here's the tube that comes down into the oil pan area. So once this tube is out of the oil, there's no debate that the pump cannot sling oil around and push it anywhere where it needs to go. So this is going to be the area that we're interested in seeing dry. And on the back side of it, this happens to align approximately with this bolt. So the tube ends right around this area. So if I pick this area up to the point where the oil's out of the motor, there's no debate that the pump isn't getting any oil. Whether it's my previous attempt, I had made the assumption that the pump needed to be in the oil to pump. Somebody corrected me and said that the actual tube going to the pump needs to be in oil, and if the bottom of it is in oil, the pump will still pump. So we need to get this area out of the oil, and I spent the last couple of days trying to figure out how to demo that using plexiglass and sealant and all that stuff, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So I think this is going to be the ticket. What I'm going to do is mark up the holes on plexiglass, cut it out, and then stick it on the motor, and then gasket the hell out of it so I don't have a leaky mess. Yeah, this is not how you do gasket maker. This is just me trying to put a ton of it on so that maybe I have a little bit of time to work with the plexiglass. Alright, something like that. Needs more gasket. Ah! There's a gap here! I cut it wrong. Okay. Let's undo all that. And I'm gonna do it again off camera because watching me ride, see the gap? Watching me ride the struggle bus can't be that interesting. Yeah, it's still a little bit leaky, but it will give me enough work time to get the idea across. So I have the line halfway between full and low marked, and I'm gonna add a bunch of old coolant just because it's green and easy to see. Yeah, this is a leaky mess, and it does come out at a fairly good rate, but it'll give us enough time to show this. So I'm going to put it a little over full just to give me a few more seconds of screwing around with it, and I am going to lift the front of the motor I'm going to lift the front of the motor until this bolt is past the water line. because that bolt happens to be where the oil pickup tube ends. So yes, we're losing a little bit of liquid, but I don't think we're losing it that quickly that it will make any kind of real difference. I also don't think we'll end up with, you know, the to the degree measure of wheelie. I just want to kind of ballpark anyway. So what I'm going to do instead, using the jack, is I'm going to grab a Sharpie and I'm going to lift this by hand, and then I'll just mark when the fluid is at this level, where it is in the back. So roughly there. Of course, Sharpie doesn't write well. Okay, so that, at that angle, this bolt is past the water line, which means the pickup tube is past the water line. So let's put this back. Grab a ruler and grab the protractor. So roughly there. And as you can see, so here's the moment of truth. We're going to see what that angle is for real this time. And yeah, accounting for volume and accounting for the tube from the pump, we're actually right around 40 degrees. So 40 degrees means the tube that's coming out of the pump into the pan is past the oil level. So to summarize all that, the way I just did this, I filled up the motor up to right between full and low, so the average between full and low. Then by tilting the motor to the point where the oil pump was out, which was roughly around 20 degrees, so something like that. At that point, the oil pump was out of the oil. And then by tilting the motor 40 degrees, which is roughly around there, the oil pickup tube, which ends right around here, was also out of the oil. Now, this made a couple of assumptions. This obviously made the assumption that no oil went anywhere else in the motor, which is not actually the case. So this would get drier earlier. It also made the assumption that as the motor is running, the oil level stays in the middle, which is not the case. Obviously, if you start the motor and watch your bike get vertical, oil level will come down a bit. But I feel like this addressed the concerns of not managing the constant volume, and as well as addressed the concern of the pickup tube that went to the oil pan. So if I missed something, let me know. I'm getting really tired of leaking stuff all over the place, but I'm more than happy to try to make some adjustments, do a few more ghetto experiments, whatever. Let me know.